I would like to make an announcement. For today's office hour, we will do it immediately right after class, and we will be doing in this room. I already reserved this room for the rest of the afternoon. So we will stay here and do whatever we need in order to take care of your homework or grading or whatever. Okay, and the other thing is for homework one, you will need to find Richard, our TA, to do the homework one. I will take care of homework two and homework three. I would like to spend some time to tell you about the final project, which is over the weekend. There were some great questions, and I think it will be better for me to clarify what we want. Okay. So this is going to tell you what you need to do for the project and also what you need to submit as the result of the project. All right. So in the final project, it's really similar to the way you do you should have done your homework too, which is in fact none of the group have actually done it the way it's supposed to be. So I want to clarify, it's the same process. So let me move these things over here a little bit so everybody can see what's going on. I think this is good. All right. So the first step is come up with an idea. Many of you have talked to me about your idea. I think at least we're converging on your idea. But I was impressed by the quality of some of your idea you come out, which is really good. So you should, based on the discussion, you have to talk to me, by the way, for step 0, because I can help you to determine whether your idea is innovative in some sense. So this is the innovation step. You have to talk to me. I would say maybe 2/3 of the class already talked to me on this. So if you haven't talked to me, please talk to me today as soon as possible. Sorry, I have some. Okay. Okay, that's number one. Basically, based on the idea, you're supposed to write a short scenario. A scenario will looks like what you have for your homework 2. So homework 2, essentially, we didn't have step 0. I gave you the step 0. And you start the next step using the scenario. But for your final project, you need to provide the scenario based on the discussion among yourself and based on the discussion with me. All right, that's step 0. And what's the step 1? Step 1 is essentially what you supposed to do for your homework 2. Is based on the scenario, you have to write down a sequence of JSON. So a sequence of JSON is not just one single JSON. A lot of you just gave me one single JSON. It turned out to be, I would say, probably all of you, with 1 or 2 exception, is that you essentially print out the JSON in your last step and then substitute that as a step 1, which was wrong, which is okay for homework 2, but it's definitely not okay for final project. So you need to written down a sequence of JSON based on the scenario, not doing any programming, but just handcrafted the JSON. Okay, so I mean, the thing is, why is a sequence of JSON? So an individual JSON you can translate to a C++ class, but a pair of JSON basically help you to describe a member function. I mean, I gave you an example. For example, somebody get on the bus. I mean, this part. I mean, this is an example. I mean, somebody get on the bus. So essentially, get on the bus is a member function. It's an action that applied to a bus. So therefore, you need to have a JSON describe your data about the bus before the instructor and the student got on the bus. And then you need to have another JSON to describing the bus after they got on the bus. So obviously, for example, some of you show me all the traces about where you are, the instructor or the student. You only show me the final traces. But suppose you're supposed to show me one, the first JSON should be with maybe one element in the trace or none of the element. And the second one was two, and the third one with a three. That's a sequence of JSON. It's actually showing that how your JSON is going to take action, is going to collecting the traces or changing the status, say somebody got off the bus. So you need to come up with not just an individual JSON, which you will use that to define the C++ class, but you also need to come up a sequence of JSON. And ideally, a pair of those sequence will describe some member function in C++ class to causing this transition. Okay, step one is very important, is represent the design about your system when you want to implement the scenario. The step zero is just an English text, just telling you what's going on. And step one is really try to produce the JSON, describe something which is more, which is not more, is a lot more specific. I mean, this is something which you cannot use ChatGPT to do that. In fact, the whole project, if you use ChatGPT, it will be a disaster. But the ChatGPT is not very good in understand the detail about how to produce a text to a C++ code. In fact, if I look at a lot of your code based on the ChatGPT, I didn't pick, I was not very picky, but a lot of concept being generated is not really fulfill what we want to do with the one. I mean, maybe in the future, ChatGPT or similar tool might be able to do that a lot better. But at this moment, no. At this moment, it's not doing the correct programming task for you. Okay, so number two is very important. You need to have this. You need to have this. This is a very important requirement. And then after you're done with step one, assuming you have this JSON, which is the thing is, how do you know the step one is actually is being defined correctly? You will need to compare your result with step one and step zero to see if every single meaningful stuff in the scenario has been captured by the step one. So therefore, one of the reasons I want you to come talk to me is that, I mean, for example, at least two groups, I told them, whatever you come up with scenario, that's too complicated. I want you to have some scenario which is innovative, yet is simple, is hitting only one important innovative idea, and such that you don't have to spend lots of time, write a lot of JSON, but writing enough JSON to represent that particular portion of the scenario. Okay, so based on that, you're going to do step two. So step two is then you develop a set of C++ classes with its member function and with dump to JSON based on step one, those JSON you created. Okay, so step one to step two should be relatively mechanical. So meaning that if you define the JSON correctly, switching from step one to step two should be fairly easy. So you should be able to get step one to step two within a few hours. That's my experience, especially if you can use inheritance based on the project base already. So I will say the most time-consuming part is step zero and step one. After you're done with step zero and step one, if you did it right, step two should be really, really straightforward. Okay, that's reflecting the fact that object-oriented programming, the programming itself should be easy, but the design of the object, which is in the JSON format, is the key step for you to be successful. Okay, so with the step two, when you come up with the C plus classes, and also of course you need a main program, and such that you will need to make sure, of course, you have to write makefile, you have to make sure the program compile. Okay, you have to have a makefile, you compile, and then you basically test it. At least you can run your program. And then go to the last part, which is the testing and evaluation. So in the step three, the last part, you need to make sure that the program is going to generate another bunch of JSON. And those JSON should be at least similar to what you had in step one. And sometime in that process, you might find that the JSON, the quality of the JSON you produce in step three might be even better than your original design. Okay, it has to be at least similar, but most likely because when you did this, you actually realize something can be better represented. So therefore, step three, you might get something which is better than the previous one. Okay, so this is a very important concept. You kind of have step one, and the first thing we check is step one and step zero. They're consistent, they're equivalent. And then between step one and step three, if you can get step three and you realize the output of step three is equivalent or better than step one, then you know the system you implement has the property you desire. So because of that, then your step zero will link to step four. Okay, so that's what you're supposed to do for this final project. It's the same process you did your homework too. But now I want to give you the second opportunity to practice the paradigm, because the first time you did this, you probably didn't pay attention to the probably I didn't okay clarify clear enough until I did the interactive grading. Then I realized, okay, you guys have the similar issue here and there. Okay, so now I want you to about deliverable, about this final project. So I want you to deliver this project by July 3rd, the midnight. I heard that July 4th, that will be the deadline for me to turn in your grade, July 4th. So you can give me the code so I can still grade it before the deadline. So I request if you send me the grade, send me the stuff by July 4th, that's very risky because I might have time to grade your final project. I might, but I might not have time. So that's very risky. So I demand you to send me your stuff by 11:59 p.m. on July 3rd or earlier. If you get it done, that's fine. Okay. If you get it done earlier, I will get back to you your grade as soon as possible. You actually can actually take a look at the grade and see what's going on. Okay. So what I need to do is for each of the step, I kind of give you each of the deliverable. So for the first scenario, I want you to have a one or two PowerPoint slides. So the PowerPoint slides will have the scenario itself. By the way, the scenario shouldn't be too complicated. So one or two slides should be enough. I mean, ideally, you will have a one slide describe the scenario and then clarify why is this scenario innovative. And the second slide, if necessary, you kind of illustrate, you draw some picture to actually show the basic idea. So the step one is just showing one or two slide, PowerPoint slide to illustrate the scenario and also articulate why this is innovative. And then you might draw some figure to represent. Sometimes I feel to draw some figure help others to understand your idea. Okay, and the step two, what you need to come up with the sequence of JSON. Okay, you need to deliver the sequence of JSON. And then step three, you need to come up with a C++ source code and makefile. Sorry, you have to have makefile. Basically, everything should be self-contained. Then I do a make, I will be able to build your program. And step 4 is after you execute the program, you generate the output JSON. Okay, so when I'm grading your homework, I'm actually going to look at your output JSON and compare to your step 2, the sequence. By the way, if possible, you will show me. You will come to my office hour, or we can schedule an online appointment. So you kind of show me why step 2 is similar to step 4. Okay, and that's you have your opportunity to talk about that. I might ask you some questions, give you some feedback. Okay, so that's the requirement for step 1 to step 4. Okay, so the following I'm going to tell you is something which is something not technically is not part of EE1520, but could be considered as a extended activity for EE1520. I have seen so many great ideas from the discussion I have already conducted at this point. And many of your idea, I feel, has a lot of good merit. And this could be taken to the next level. So what I'm suggesting for you to do is that you are invited, all of you are invited to submit a proposal based on this idea, saying that you would like to, your team decide to work on further on this project idea over the summer or even into the next semester. And I have a pot of money. I can fund some of the project. I don't have enough money to fund all the project, but some of the project I can fund the project. Fund the project meaning that I will provide. I think in my pocket I might have anything from 100,000 to 150,000 per project to work on this. I have to calculate the accounting about how many projects and I can sponsor in this way. So you can use this money to pay yourself as a summer salary, or you can use this money to purchase some equipment if interested. Probably not the. I mean, I would say all the idea probably you don't need the first time. You don't need any equipment. It's just programming. So I will provide some resources and money to do that. So you can actually submit. If you're interested, you can submit, which then I will tell you the detail about how this might lead to. The ultimate goal of this is that we have NCKU has a foundation. They're looking for funding start a company. And therefore, we're highly, we like to encourage our student to try as an undergraduate student. And if you have some idea, some of you want to work on that, and the foundation will be able to provide some funding for you to do it. And if successful, that this will carry out into some real entrepreneurship. Okay, that's something which you might consider. But this is independent, and we will not talk about this until everything is done this quarter, meaning that after July 4th, I will send out another announcement. So don't quit from the line EE1520 line group, because I'm going to make the announcement there. Okay, so just let you know. Okay, is there any question regarding what I said about final project? If you haven't talked to me about the final project, you should really try to grab me today, okay? Because it takes some time for you to, I mean, some of the team, they actually already came talk to me twice. Maybe one of the team talked to me 3 times already. So you should really talk to me as soon as possible to kind of come up with the step 0 about what's the scenario. Because once the step 0 is set, then the rest of them should be easy. But the whole project, the quality of the project will depend on step 0. whether the idea is truly, I believe if you follow the mechanical step, your grade will, the quality of your project will heavily depend on the innovation of your idea, the innovative level of your idea. Okay, so come talk to me as early as possible. Sometime the conversation could have been that there are 2 or 3 possible subject you would like to pursue. And then you guys need to discuss among yourself about which one to go. Okay, once that's done, I think step 1 and 2 is kind of straightforward. Okay, any question? Okay, you know what? I'm going to directly, wait a minute. Is Richard here? Richard is not here? Okay, I'm going to send him an email. Okay. So the other thing I want to tell you is about homework assignment number 3. I probably should upload. I have a, I just want to tell you what did I do with this. So this is a server. I have a new version of the server you should try. I mean, this one, you guys should be doing okay already. If you use the example I provide, it already provide about 33 exception, which, let me actually show you what it looks like. Let me run the server. So this is the post. I actually put it on the GitHub that you can do. If you remember, I said you only need to produce 20 exception, but this one already gave 33 exception, I believe. This one gave about, this one gave 53 exception. That's interesting. This one gave 53 exception, but I modified my program such that I will count for unique exception. Let me tell you that what's not unique exception. This exception over here, class person, you see that is JSON value key missing, JSON object class person, and which is name, this 3 thing. This and this one are identical. If you compare this one with this one, they are identical. If you look at every one of the 5 fields, how, index, what, where, and which, they are identical, which means that these 2 are counted twice, but they are not unique. They're not unique. So the new version of the server is going to count how many unique exception you have. So you need to really find out different piece of code. For example, these 2 are different. This one is the JSON. If you compare this one, this 2, the first 2, they're different because the first one is a JSON value key missing. This one is JSON key missing. They're the same. And the JSON to object class person, JSON to object class person, they're the same. But the third one, which attribute is causing the exception? This one says name, this one says home. So because they are different attribute, they're considered different. So your program need to produce unique. You will see a count saying that unique exception count. And only that one is going to be, you have to get the unique exception count more than 20. Okay, I will upload the new version of the server. I'm just give you another example. Let me actually see that this one is created. These 2 are also, these 2 are not, these 2 are different. This one, you see that is JSON value key missing, JSON to object class reaction. This is created. But this one, you can see that is also JSON value key missing, but the class, where is JSON object class post? These 2 are different. Okay, these 2 are unique to each other because this one is the reaction class. This one is post class. So essentially, two JSON, two exceptions are considered equivalent if all five of this attribute are equivalent. I only have a five attribute, how, index, what, where, which. I mean, you probably don't need to worry about how and index. All of them are the same. So it's really going to make a difference between two exception is either what, where, or which. So look for what, where, which. As long as you can generate 20 of those without I mean, all 20 need to be unique in what, where, and which. That's what I meant. Okay. All right. Any question? Okay. So what I will do is I'm going to finish this class and I'm going to turn the class into office hour. I will stay here. I'll probably just go back to grab one thing and then we're going to do office hour. If you haven't done your, let me do this. I will first look for project idea discussion for those of you, because I think many of you have done homework too. I will first go for project, and then after I'm done with a project for one round, then I'm going to grade homework two, while I'm actually going to ask Richard to help me to grade homework assignment number one. Okay. All right. I'm going to stop here.